Yet another pretty damn good episode of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. This was entitled Providence. The episode begins with Ward breaking the flower dress lady out of prison. So if there was any doubt on whether Ward is actually with Hydra and evil, this further cemented that. Then we see Skye telling Coulson that there are in fact 3 safe S.H.I.E.L.D. bases out there, which wasn't as much as Coulson wanted. Then we see Ward bringing the flower dress lady to where Garrett is, Bill Paxton. And it's disguised as a barber shop, I guess. And there's a moment where the barber asks Ward if he wants him to shave his growing beard. And Ward says, you know what, I think I'm going to let it grow out. And I thought, so Ward, he's officially a villain now that he's growing the facial hair. I just thought that was funny. Now Bill Paxton reveals to the flower girl that he is Hydra. He's not the clairvoyant like he lied to her to make her think that he was this guy with telekinetic powers and stuff. So she's not too happy with that, but what can you do? She's already pretty much a part of this team. Then we see Talbot address Coulson. Talbot is played by Nathan Petrelli from Heroes. So that was interesting to see him here. You know, they sort of advertised not only the actor, but the character Talbot as being this big thing. Maybe he will show up in another episode as a bigger role, but right now it was just the one scene of basically saying he was going to come there to ask some questions, and Coulson says he doesn't trust him. Then, when Coulson is getting his team onto their plane about to go out, Agent Triplet says he wants to go with them, and Coulson doesn't really trust him because of his association with Bill Paxton. And I don't blame Coulson. I'm not saying I don't trust Triplet, but still, you want to, at this rate, especially with Ward, you don't really want to trust many people. But Simmons quickly says we can trust this guy, and I believe that. I believe that we can trust Triplet. Then we see Skye calling Ward because they just realized that they haven't heard from Ward since everything happened. So she calls him, she talks to him, and Ward puts up the facade, the whole I'm a nice guy, and so yeah. Then there's also, we see that Skye had to take everyone's badge, and they're basically going to get rid of it. And when Coulson does that, he notices that there are coordinates on his badge. And he quickly says, holy crap, this must be from Fury. So now Coulson's sort of freaking out, saying Fury's not dead, he's out there, he is trying to contact us to meet together. And now the other team is starting to doubt Coulson. And I didn't even think that this was a possibility until later on Melinda May comes in and she talks to him, and she basically says, look, even though Fury was the one that ordered for the operation to happen to Coulson, to bring him back from the dead, we don't know who was overseeing or who was present when the surgery happened. So for all we know, Hydra was involved in that surgery, and Hydra might have implanted something into Coulson's head, and they could be controlling him, and Coulson might not even know it. That was an interesting theory, and I don't know if anything's going to come from that, or if that was just for the dramatic moment of not knowing whether Coulson is right about trusting this instinct. We see another scene of Ward talking to the flower dress lady, and she basically asked him, like, how did you do everything that you did? How did you get into the group? How did you get them to trust you? And she's basically asking Ward the questions that we want to ask and find the answers to. And Ward made it seem easy. He made it seem like all I had to do was use my charms and just be a guy who wanted to make it seem like I didn't want to be on the team, but he got on the team. And he says it's not like he didn't become close with the group, but he owes Bill Paxton more. And for anyone, again, because I've heard some people online say that maybe Ward is going undercover and he's still a good guy. I don't know, this scene where he basically revealed how he did everything he did and how easy it was to do it, it seemed like, yeah, he's a bad guy. He's been undercover this whole time. And even though I've seen more personality out of Ward since he's turned bad, it does kind of suck that this group is forever changed. Then we see this moment where Fitz is kind of being a dick to Triplet. And at first I was thinking, oh, he's just doing this because he's jealous, because Simmons trusts him, so he's just jealous because he likes Simmons. And I'm sure there is a big part of that, which is kind of annoying, but I like that he at least said it was more about them not trusting Coulson, and he wants to trust Coulson. That was a good way to spin it anyways. We get this scene of Ward pretending like he's bringing Garrett to one of the S.H.I.E.L.D. safe headquarters. The guys are questioning where Victoria Hand is, but they trick them. They stage this Hydra attack. They get them into the building, and then Ward nonchalantly shoots the two guards, like in the face. So Ward is just full-blown evil throughout this whole time. There's a great moment where Coulson is bringing his team out into the snow where the coordinates are supposed to be, and they get to the area and they don't see anything. And the team's kind of freaking out like, we told you so. And Coulson gets really emotional and he starts yelling at them. And Clark Gregg is a good actor, but this, he really put his all into it. He had so much pain behind what he was saying, because it was like he wanted to believe that this was something, that this was Fury, that there was still hope for S.H.I.E.L.D., but even he was doubting it. He was trying to like convince himself. Then he apologized, he throws his badge, and then this machine gun of sorts shoots the badge. They don't know if it's Hydra or not, but Coulson still believes. He shows himself, he introduces himself, and then you find out, yes, it is, in fact, S.H.I.E.L.D. They go in there. Patton Oswalt shows up. He's the guy who's running this base. And he tells them that Fury didn't make it out of D.C., that he is, in fact, dead. But then he pulls Coulson aside by himself and says, Fury's alive. And I'm only telling you because there's only a certain amount of people that should know. And I like that Coulson was uncomfortable lying to his group, but ultimately he's going to have to. And I like that not everyone else knows about Fury. Then you get this weird scene of Garrett, Bill Paxton, talking to Ward. And he's putting his shirt on, and you get a quick shot of him having like metal on his stomach, like the side of his ribs, and I don't know what's going on with that. Maybe there's some connection to the Deathlock technology, and maybe Garrett has that as well. But the creepy scene, this scene was so creepy. So I guess Garrett wants Ward to be convincing about their story, that they were attacked and Ward was beaten up and just barely made it there. So he beats up Ward, or he punches him in the face, and he's saying, you tell me who you are. And he says he's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. And it was creepy because he was really laying it to him. Ward covered in blood, and again, for an ABC show, I was just surprised by that scene. And then we see Ward show up to this base. He gets greeted by Skye, and I'm insanely curious on what's going to happen now that Ward is back with the team, because the face that he made, just this evil face, like Ward is evil. There's no doubt about it. And the very last scene was Garrett revealing that he has Graviton. And he's in its cage, and it's probably going to come out before the season's over. And that's pretty exciting, because I was upset that the second or third episode we saw that scientist basically become Graviton, but he's been locked up this whole time. We haven't even gotten a mention of him. Now that that's coming back and seemingly there will be a payoff, I'm happy about that. I thought, again, this was a really good episode. A lot went on. This story is progressing in a direction where I have no idea what's going to happen. And that's something that this show needed to be. Thank God it got to this level, too. I swear I can't believe that they had this plan from the beginning, because the show has been so much better lately. It's weird. But anyways, guys, let me know in the comments below. Did you see this episode? What did you think of it? Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe. Later!